Hey everyone, this is Germ, and on my Finishing the Unlock series, where I'm unlocking every attachment for every gun and vehicle in Battlefield 3, this week I have finished the AEK-971. Now the AEK-971 is a little bit of an interesting assault rifle because it has a very high rate of fire, but it's 900 rounds per minute like the FAMAS and some of the SMGs, but it also is pretty crappy when it comes to recoil. Unlike most of the assault rifles, I would not use this for any long-range encounters. I would think of this as a long, large SMG with a poor reload time. The reload time is more like an assault rifle, less speedy, like a lot of the SMGs are. So this is a little bit of a confusing gun, Since you can play with the SMGs on pretty much any class, I don't know many situations where I would think the AEK is the optimal gun to use. But it must be for a lot of people, because on a map like this in close quarters, I'd say probably 35% of the people playing on this map are using the AEK. Now, some things it does do better than SMGs is it is a little more stable at range than your average SMG. So that's nice, but given that it takes a little longer to bring up to fire, and given the fact that it has a kind of slow reload speed, it's just not really that impressive. So I like the gun okay. I guess it has its uses, but I would probably go with an SMG more often than not. As far as unlocks, I don't know why you would want to use any scope over a 4X. There's a 7X scope, there's a 6X. I would stick with a hollow sight if you want some zoom on it. But other than that, I would just stick with a red dot most of the time. I was playing with a hollow sight on here. I have no idea what that recon was doing. I was playing with a hollow sight here. I just wanted to try it out before I finished the gun out. But typically I just play with a red dot. The suppressor is also a really nice attachment. If you're playing close quarters, which to do well in this gun you probably will be. But my preferred setup is the foregrip to reduce your recoil, and a laser sight, because I don't have to scope up. Then I can just spray it into people's heads willy-nilly from 20 feet away. But, I don't think I'd use a bipod or a heavy barrel or flash suppressor or anything like that, flash hider. I would just stick with the, I guess the assault rifle basics, suppressor, foregrip, red dot or ACOG, maybe a laser sight if you like to run and gun from the hip. So that's just my opinions on the gun. Obviously a lot of people like it. It's a favorite of a lot of people, but given between this and the FAMAS, I think I'd go with the FAMAS. That's a smoother gun for me at long range. I felt like I could play with that on more levels. You might want to use one of the larger scopes here if you are playing on burst fire or single shot. But again, I don't know why you would do that, because if you're going to do that, you should stick with a better gun like the M16A4. Even the M16A3 full auto is better than this gun full auto, in my opinion, for medium to long range engagements. It's just up close. This is a very brutal gun. And it definitely has its uses. But for me personally, I would probably just stick with an SMG or something lighter like that. Although, it is fun in close quarters like this just to whip it out and tear stuff up. So for the assault class next, I think I'm going to probably unlock everything for an SMG now. Just do it on the assault. And maybe trade off assault rifles, SMGs, whatever. So let me guys know if you have a SMG you'd like me to try next. Otherwise, I'll just pick one, and here I jump off the building in celebration. Have a great day.